Boker Tov, Naftali Abramson.
Hey, Hirsch.
Thanks so much for joining me here on the podcast. You are a Abba. You are
Nice.
a musician.
Yes.
You are a psychologist.
Therapist.
Psychotherapist.
Yeah.
You're a lot of things, brother. I've seen you from afar. I've known you for, I feel like, a long period. But this is like the first chance we're going to get to sit down and have a nice chat. And I'm really thankful for you giving me the time and this beautiful space here. We're in your backyard, and we're overlooking more of the Judean mountains. And
the wadi.
This beautiful wadi with all sorts of growth. Like there's an olive grove down there. I see a bunch of shkediya, what else is down there? There's some vineyards down there. It's just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Everything right now is so green.
I know, it's nice. Yeah. Let's see how long it stays like this.
I'm not talking about the AstroTurf here. I'm talking about the...
Well, I need to work on the garden a bit.
The garden's nice too.
Down there, it's nice. I
It's
remember
so
in the
sweet.
beginning, I should do it more now, but in the beginning when we first moved here, I would wake up and I would just take a few seconds to take the view in.
Morning coffee.
It's really special. Yeah.
It's so sweet. You came to Efrat about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago?
It's been 2.5 already.
Wow.
Yeah, 2.5.
Wow.
2.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Keep talking about this last year, how the time kind of just moves different because of this last year.
Yeah, no, this year is very confusing, I would say, at least. It's almost like, I don't know if I should even count this past year now. Although this backyard did play a huge role in getting the kids out of the house. I don't know what we would have done otherwise. This was like an extra room or an extra home for them to get out and not be stuck inside the house all day. So that was vital. Let's let's be real about that.
It's necessary.
Yeah.
Be outside and then to get out, even if it's just in your backyard, it means the world. And now that we're getting out and able to be together, one person next to each other in a much more free way, it's a really good feeling.
Yeah, it's nice. It feels like it's we're getting moving.
Hold on 1 second. I'm just a little nervous that the video isn't recording. I don't know why.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it started. I'm just going to double check. Of course it's still recording. The worst thing in the world, in my mind, is sitting down and having these conversations and then missing.
Oh, man.
I'm
happy you felt comfortable getting up and just double checking. And
for sure. You made me so comfortable in your house here, coming down. It feels like home. It feels like a home.
Yeah. I like hanging out here in the backyard. Obviously, this is where I play music, and this is where if I really want quiet, I'll come here. That's the truth, because it's just a quiet spot, and especially at night, I like it if it's not too cold.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I feel like you could also do a backyard camping thing out here.
Yes.
With your kids.
Yes, with the kids. Yeah, that was the plan. To tell them that we're going somewhere really far, drive around for a bunch of hours, and end up back
Come
here.
Right back.
Okay, close your eyes.
They're all groggy. They just woke up. It was a long car ride.
Yeah.
All right, guys, here we go.
That was what we want. That's what we said last summer because of COVID that we were just gonna camp out here.
Beautiful.
Or in the living room or something.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
We made this little fire pit that we've been using outside. It's been really nice because it's like having a little campfire in your backyard.
Yeah.
And just go out even on a little bit of a chilly night and go out and light up the fire. It's like a mini camping trip.
Wow.
They'll roast some marshmallows or hot dogs over it.
Nice.
It's fun.
Your dog like it?
Dogs, yeah. As long as they're with us, as long as they're with us, they're happy, no matter what.
Nice.
So if we're outside, they want to be outside. If we're inside, they want to be inside.
Cute. That's so sweet.
Yeah, it's funny. It gets a little bit annoying though, where there's one dog who all day long is communicating to us. I want to go out. I want to come back in. I want to go back. Calm down, dude. I took you for 2 walks today. Isn't that enough? No, it's not enough.
Nice. He knows what he wants.
Yeah,
That's
for
good.
sure. He's 14 years old.
He.
Yeah.
14.
Dylan.
Yeah, okay. Dylan. Right, I met him actually.
Yeah, sweet dog.
Yeah. We had a dog once. We had once, but he didn't get along with our kid. And it was a choice. He was just too we're waiting for the right dog and the right time.
That's a serious thing. I mean, dogs are, each of them have their own personalities, and then there was a certain aspect of like training. So like we have one dog who's so well trained and so sweet, and he has his things. He likes to go into the garbage or whatever. But our other dog he's like a wild dog. He came from the hills. He came and we tried to find him a home in the beginning, but he was a little puppy. We didn't find one, and then he kind of just stayed with us, and he got bigger and bigger and bigger. Oh, no. But he, it's funny because he takes the training, but there's certain things that he just, with other dogs, he will, with people, he loves people, but with other dogs, for some reason, he's just, he thinks he's the boss, he thinks he's the alpha, and he always has to, and I haven't been able to figure out how to kind of steer him away from that. Wow. So there's always some sort of a little confrontation with other dogs. Yeah. So
it's so interesting because it reminds me of therapy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How so?
Because people there's so many nuances to a person. There's so much depth and personality kind of intricates that not everything works exactly the same way. I don't think a therapist can go in and say this is what I do and this is going to work for everyone across the board. There's just so many people are different, so there are overlying kind of similarities between us as humans, in terms of we were talking about emotions, just getting in touch with emotional depth is a very important part of a therapeutic process. However, it's going to look very different for each person. It's going to feel different. It's going to be on a different volume. Some people are just easy to get into it. Some people it's just so different. And I think I don't know, I'm learning as a therapist to be as eclectic as possible, as gamish, as flexible as possible. It's so I love that part actually, because I see different people and it's you're a little like this and you're a little like that, and it's cool. It's
I mean, I feel I find as people, a lot of times we base situations on previous situations. So we think okay, so I know this, I've had this experience with someone else, so maybe this person's like that, and that's how we approach with dealing with them. But that's really what you're saying. That's really not the case.
Right. And it's cool because it's challenging, to be able to. I don't think it's not challenging, but for me it's exciting to come into each person I meet is a blank page. It's new, it's fresh, and that's, I don't know, that's exciting to meet someone in a different way, in a different level. Even week in, week out, it's different. Also, this person coming in today, and it came in last week. They're in a different place, and to really enjoy that. And I think obviously the best way. I'm just thinking now. Yeah. I see a lot of clients yesterday on Tuesdays, so I saw just one guy I've been working with for a while, and I've seen such changes. Thank God. This is one of my success stories. Yeah. It's so awesome to see. I always remember how it was with him in the beginning, and where he was, and how it was difficult. It was really, really there was a lot of pain and hurt and issues and stuff. And now to see where he's at, to see that this is a different person. This is someone who's really gone through growth process, who has changed, who's really that's cool. That's exciting,
To me, it's just such a mind trip.
It is. It's awesome. It's so awesome. Yeah. We can change.
Wow.
Some people, I hear people saying all the time, people don't change. And especially I feel with couples, it gets really difficult because, you're so used to someone, seeing them day in, day out. You haven't seen any changes in them. Right. But it's people can change.
There's also the other side of seeing changes could be a new experience, maybe a scary experience. Whoa, this is not the person that I always that I've known or whatever.
That's true. To see where it plays in. Yeah, that's really cool. Good.
When I heard you talking a lot about how there's a certain aspect of feeling your emotions.
Yeah.
So understanding what the emotion is, but there's a difference between understanding it and actually feeling it, in your body.
Experiencing it. Okay. Yeah. Yes. I think at this point, like in time, like the mind-body connection has just been like, I don't know. I had these back pains. I'm telling you, and I read this book, the John Sarno. I don't know. Everyone knows about it, but like it really did help knowing, like just knowing in my mind, like certain important parts of like what it is. Like I felt healed from it. It was wild. I could not believe it. So it's really the same thing. Like there's only so much our bodies can go without our minds, and vice versa. Like there's only so much our minds can go without our bodies. Like that's how we're working here. And so like, you know, there could be someone who's, you know, so when I'm talking about the experience of feeling feelings, it's because I've seen time and time again people you know, talk a lot about things, or they know a lot of information. Like people know, in the sense that like they know what to do. Mental health, there's not that much. I don't know. I don't feel like I have so many chidushim, like any new kind of ideas in that sense. But to experience it like in my body, to be able to like kind of to really feel a difference and to generate a difference, like in like with energy, like with power, with physical energy, it's such an important part. Like it's almost like how can we not bring that part in? I think the only issue is that it's like sometimes it hurts. Like the body, like the body hurts. Like I don't know about you. My body sometimes, like it's like, you know, that's where we're storing stuff, also in our minds and our memories, but also in my body. So, man, so if it hurts, like I have to physically, you know, generate that kind of energy, and in the therapeutic process, I mean, there's, you know, there's also working out. There's all that. There's, you know, physical fitness, and there's the emotional side of the physical side. Like there's feeling the feelings inside, like really with oxygen, like with proper breathing.
You know what scares me about those moments? is that, well, if this is something that is healthy and it is good for us to do, feeling all the time is not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's probably even feeling good all the time is probably not a good feeling.
Yeah. It's I would say it's inappropriate, because appropriateness is being with what's around me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, being in touch with reality. So whatever that brings.
When does one choose to tap into this, and then to sort of allow the autopilot, or even just to be able to do the day-to-day things, because maybe that I feel like that could hinder. Yeah. You know, I don't know, driving a car or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know,
for sure.
You know? But you understand my question? It's more it's like when would you suggest is like the right time to be doing that? You know?
It's a great question. Thank you. So no, I really do appreciate it. I would say there's, you know, it's a little bit of a, you know, expanded answer. Like there's one which is like in the therapy room, let's say once a week.
Yeah.
So once a week, you know, if someone's taking 50 minutes to really get in touch with and to really access, they have an opportunity to really, you know, take it as far as they want to take it, and then, you know, close it up, and that's, you have that, you know, you have that time. That's, I would say, is like the most. What you asked more in terms of like day in and day out, how does that work? I would say like the following. First of all, you know, a meditation maybe once a day for like 10-15 minutes. Meditations are not like necessarily this same type of work. It's not necessarily getting in touch with the full blown, you know, power or, you know, essence, you know, or depth of the emotion, but rather to just touch it, to feel a little bit, not to get big and whatever, but just to feel a little bit for, you know, 10-15 minutes. If it's either, some people like the beginning, I would recommend either the start of the day or the end of the day, like one of those two. The other aspect, and this is trickier, is when, and this is also, I don't know 100% if this is how to answer this, but we'll kind of get into it, which is like if an issue comes up throughout my day,
right?
Like, let's say something comes up. Let's say, although this is a bad example, but you brought it up, like you're driving,
okay,
right? And someone cuts you off, right? So it's not a good idea to do this while I'm driving, right? So let's say a different, but let's say you have so either you could wait till the end of the day to like process that and to kind of like understand like, hey, like how was I feeling in that moment, and why was I feeling, that way? And again, let's assume that some people when they're driving, like they have intense emotions, or intense thoughts, or whatever, tension. So, that's something perhaps at the end of the day is something good to process, is to like really understand like, well, what about that situation, what was really going on for me? Mm-hmm. Because really the emotions are an access tool to, like what I said, also, generating power, but also getting in touch with deeper like needs and wants that I have inside of me. And getting to better realization. So, I mean, if there's an driving's not a good example.
What about a workplace scenario?
So, right. So that's a good example. So I'd say most of the time there's not an opportunity to do that.
Right.
And,
you
write it down, keep a note, you keep on going, and it's not appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
If an issue comes up in the day and you actually do have the opportunity to process it, to think about it, to really like, either write stuff down or call a friend and say like this, this was going on, like, and if I was the friend you were calling, I would say, okay, just like breathe for a few, for a minute or two, and feel like what was the feeling you were feeling? Again, just to touch it, not to like get full blown.
What are the types of feelings we're talking about? Like pressure, like a tingling, a headache?
All those could be.
What are some more of them?
Definitely tension. Look, I try to.
It's like important to have the vocabulary.
So the vocabulary, I mean? it's words that are not, that they're just words that we've put onto these types of. You're right in terms of the physiological feeling that's really going on. The best words that I have, and there's a lot of different emotions. There's ranges, but often the best way to actually feel them is to just bring it down as much as possible to either anger, fear, sad. Those feelings tend to get tense because people don't want to feel them, so they tense up. There's also happy. Some people don't feel happy enough, or they're not generating their happiness. Excitement, gratitude, calm. Like I would say,
you're good at that one.
No,
really, it's something
funny,
I noticed about you.
Really?
Yeah,
because that's something I've changed.
Yeah.
Speaking of the therapeutic process,
yeah.
I wasn't always calm, and I'm not always calm. But people say about me a lot recently.
Like,
also,
when I stand next to you, it's a breath of fresh air. It's like a little vacation. I don't know.
Thanks, man. Wow, it's still surprising for me to hear that. That's great.
Well, good for you, because you put that work into
it.
You put the work into that.
Yeah.
Yes. I understand what that means. It's not a simple thing to be calm and relaxed in every situation.
Right.
And I would imagine there are situations you're not. But yeah.
No, but I've worked on it.
It's a middle zone. It's like you could go anywhere from there.
Yes. Yeah. Amazing.
Anyways, yeah. So you're saying those are like those very those trigger emotions like fear, sadness,
anger.
Anger. Yeah.
Shame, maybe shame also.
Shame.
But again, you were right by your question originally. Like, how does it feel? Is it tingly? Is it tension? Like even right now, like I'm feeling. I just started. I think maybe it was I was feeling embarrassed by you saying that I'm calm.
Statement.
Yeah. So I just started feeling like a tension in my shoulder right now, and that's fear. For me, that's fear. because the more I bring it down, because there's kind of something core about fear and anger and sadness that really, I could feel that. Like I could feel that in my body,
right?
That tension. And so it's actually a good opportunity if you want to like really do a process. But for me to feel this fear, it's like to really listen to it and to really open it up a little bit more instead of like me. Well, I'll do it instead of talking about it.
You're the pro though. So like you saw that right away.
Yeah, I felt it. Yeah.
You felt that right away. I mean, just to get to that that's what I was talking about having like the vocabulary and like I wouldn't directly connect that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but yes, and that's why, I've been doing this work with others. It's not that I've been doing this on my own. It's rare that I'm able to succeed on my own. I would have to really focus and really kind of really get in touch, but I would need to speak to someone and kind of process it with someone else that is paying attention, the way I would pay attention to someone else, to really, have that deep listening and hear, okay, so what's going on?
So I interrupted you. We're gonna try to
process
do a little bit of processing.
Yeah, so I was gonna, one of the things, if you were listening to me in this case, which you are, but if you would ask me, what is the fear, saying, or what does it need that it's not getting, or what does it think that it's lacking? Because if it's tense, if it's shut, then it must be lacking something. And if it flows, then it flows, then it's appropriate. Because if a kid runs into the street, let's say, chas v'shalom, and you're scared, like that's very appropriate. There's something like physiologically appropriate. But me getting tensed up from you complimenting me is not necessarily... It's something I could process. It's something that I can, and I feel it also. It's more like a closed thing.
So I'm going to pull back a minute.
Okay.
So that sort of answers my question a little bit earlier. How'd you catch it? How do you notice it? I think the question of if it's appropriate or not. Like,
yeah.
This feeling, did I just fall? Why do I have this feeling right now?
Right.
Like, wait a minute.
Did something scary just happen right now? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, not necessarily. So it's an opportunity for me to learn about myself. It's an opportunity for me to grow. Look, obviously we're giving examples here. Like, I don't do this all day. That's not what I, do all day. But it's a cool opportunity for growth. It's a good opportunity for me to learn about myself.
Yeah, I bet that shoulder hurts when you're playing guitar and standing up with a strap.
Different kind of pain.
Yeah, for sure.
But it is. It's like the, what it's saying? It really is. It's saying, I don't deserve to be seen or recognized like that. The way you recognized me, as someone calm, as someone successfully calm.
Mm-hmm.
And so the flip is that I'm yearning, or it must be that I really have a strong desire for recognition and for being noticed, being seen, and mattering. Mm-hmm. So like when it's kind of,
which means you're a human.
Yeah. Yes. It's a good thing to want. That's true. And also when you gave me that compliment, it's kind of like I didn't fully take it. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Cool.
And yes, I'm a calm guy. And see, so that's like that's the growth. You know,
right.
You know what I mean? Like 5 minutes ago, I was like, "Oh, you sure?" Like I didn't always used to be calm, or
right.
or like somehow like this compliment's not me fully, but now that small little process is getting in touch with my deeper needs and saying like, yeah, I do like to be recognized and appreciated, and so thank you so much for doing that.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And really, yeah, that was pretty cool. That wasn't easy. I made it seem easy though.
Yeah. Putting you in the chair.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did
Whoa.
you guys get to Efrat? You came from where'd you come
We're
from?
supposed to talk about this.
No,
All right, yeah.
wherever.
Well, I'll tell you, I grew up in Jerusalem, in Yerushalayim.
Yeah.
Well, I was born in New Jersey. I
Right.
don't know if you knew that.
Okay.
And my parents made aliyah when I was 4 years old.
Wow.
So really,
Neat.
yeah. So, and I grew up in Jerusalem,
Where in New Jersey? Sorry.
Teaneck.
Okay, of course.
The 80s in Teaneck. I don't know. My parents were like, no, it wasn't like it is today.
Right. No, it wasn't.
I guess it wasn't. But
And what it is today is wonderful for what it is.
yeah. I think my parents are happy with their decision. I think it took my mom a bunch of years to kind of
Yeah.
get on board with that. But
How old were they when they made
yeah,
Aliyah?
they were in their late 20s, maybe 30.
Cool.
Yeah. It was me, my older brother, and my younger brother, and then I have a few other siblings.
Shout out to
born
your
after.
to Roni.
To Roni.
Roni's my accountant.
Yes.
And I love him very much.
Guys,
I just want to point out, if you need a good accountant, Roni Abramson.
Yes. Shout out to Roni.
And the office is local.
Yes.
I think he has a partner here in Efrat.
Yes, in the Tamar. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Wow, thanks, man.
Is he
he's
your younger brother?
He's younger,
Yeah.
yeah. He's number 4, I'm number 2.
I have 2 Abramson brothers that I very much like. I don't know your other brother, but he seems like a wonderful musician.
Yeah, and now I have a younger one, number 6, who's
Yeah.
up and coming. Everyone's like getting involved in
there's a lot of Abramsons.
Yes.
How many
We're 7.
Abramsons?
We're 7 kids.
Yofi.
Yeah, my parents like went full on Israeli. I don't know what.
They
Haredi.
had a
We're not
nice big
Haredi,
family.
so like I don't know what
Yeah.
you know. So
Yerushalayim.
I grew up in Yerushalayim, and then when me and my wife Mia got married, we bounced around a bit, but we ended up going to Hashmonaim, which is where she grew up.
Mm-hmm.
And we lived underneath my in-laws. Whew. Shout out to me for handling that, and shout out to them for handling that. For taking us in.
It's a big deal.
It's a huge. I couldn't have afforded this house if not for their chesed of taking us in for a while. We similarly,
just share with you, very similarly, like before we made Aliyah, that's what it took for us as well. It was a short period, but I was in construction back then. I helped my father-in-law. We renovated the basement.
Wow.
And we moved in the basement, and we lived there for a little while, before we made Aliyah.
Yeah, it's a
huge help. It's amazing.
Yeah, especially here,
to have family here is something very special.
I can imagine. Wow.
I'm sorry for interrupting you.
No, I my heart goes out to people who are here without like parents or whatever. It's
they're watching now, and we're working on it.
No, I don't know how you. I mean, wow. Because we, every time we thought of living somewhere outside of Israel, we were just like, what about our parents? Like, how are we gonna deal without them? I got offered a job in Australia once, and my wife got offered a job in New York once. And we were always like, we never ended up.
It's exciting, yeah.
Yeah, no, but we stayed here. We stayed local.
Nice.
And my in-laws took us in for a bit. Young couple with a dog. We had 2 kids in that house, so we were there for a while, and then we're here. For me, I feel really happy about being here because it kind of reminds me of how I grew up, because I grew up in Ramot, which is the city, but it's kind of like disconnected from the city. Mm-hmm. Like it's kind of this little neighborhood, and there were a lot of English speakers, and my parents, all their friends are English speakers. My friends growing up, most of them were English speakers,
right?
And so it kind of feels like Efrat, almost like Dagan, I would say. It's like a neighborhood within a larger, like it was a neighborhood with like a more Anglo neighborhood within Ramot, which was a
sort
whole
like
neighborhood within Yerushalayim. So it didn't feel like I grew up in the city. It was actually, I feel like I guess I got both worlds. Like a bus straight into the city. 15 minutes. I'm in town. But also like the feeling of like a little bit like suburbia. So here it feels like for me it feels like a hemshech of that, like a continuation of that. Because I feel like Efrat got very big, but in Dagan, you don't really feel it that much, unless you drive out, and then, you're connected to everything. Without the traffic, we're like so close to Jerusalem.
Yeah, really. When
the
second tunnel opens, it'll be much easier.
Yeah. So I love it here. I love it here. It felt natural for us to be here. And a little known fact about me, or some people know actually, but my older brother who lives in Zayit, I think that's part of the reason why we came. So my older brother is married to my wife's older sister.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're two brothers.
There's only one other person in this world I know who's like that.
Yeah.
Wow, incredible.
So yeah, so it's cool. Obviously we're close with them.
Is that how you guys met?
Yeah, yeah. Like our families knew each other. Well, my Mia's family lived in Ramot for a few years before they moved to Hashmonaim.
Yeah.
So like we already knew them then. But
the
yeah,
Abramson
basically,
brothers are
yeah, but like we knew them.
Yeah.
Like once they got married 10 years before us.
Wow.
So like we were already very. It's actually a funny story, but like. We were like friends forever, like just growing up. We were almost like family already. And then, the whole time, like I'm a few years older and I was dating a lot and it was just not going and and I would always she would always set me up with her friends and I would always set her up with my friends.
Really funny.
And because it was always like she's not an option because like she's always like she's family.
She's always been there. She's always
yeah. And then it's always like, wait a minute, we're really close. We really get along. It's okay. Should I entertain the idea? And then I thought about it a little more. I was like, I'm not gonna ask her out unless I really think that this is really right.
Right. It's your one shot, really.
Right, because I didn't want to mess it up, and it'll be so awkward every time, like with the family.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, but thank God,
that's
it
incredible. That's a whole story in its own. What a beautiful story.
It's a story. Yeah.
Wow. So
Thanks,
so her family.
I'm telling you stuff you didn't know about.
Oh, yeah. Love it. It's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I know my wife since we were young, early teenagers. A little bit. She says a little bit younger than that. She always has this claim. I don't remember, but I have a horrible memory. She claims that when we were like, I don't know, 8 or 9, I gave her a thumbs up in the pizza shop. She remembered that.
Oh man. Where back in
Muncie.
In Muncie.
Chai Pizza.
Oh my gosh.
I totally believe that happened. I'm very proud of my younger self that I gave a girl a thumbs up too.
Yeah.
But anyways, we know each other also from a very young age. There's something really cool about that. We were part of a group of friends and we were friendly for a while and we only dated like way later. But it's a special thing knowing someone for like a long period of time.
Yeah,
because you've
comfort
gone through changes already together.
Yeah, and friendship. Yeah, it's key. Yeah, for sure.
Talking about like work on relationships. I was like joking with my wife how like I was at the produce place and this wife was like telling her husband like, don't do that, hold the bag this way, hold the bag that way, and because we both work at night. I was like, we're like kind of like that couple, but just in our 30s. We're together all the time. We're always like, shopping together. And I actually really love it. It's just a really nice thing. I don't know where I was going with that. I think more so is just I really like that. I like that. We're friends and we're buddies. And it's a really nice thing.
That goes a long way.
Okay,
like
tangent.
Mutual respect.
So back on track. So you guys met and you decided.
Man, I understand.
Okay, fine. Hit me. Hit me. I don't mind being in the chair either.
I was in camp with Javi.
Right. Oh, right. I failed to mention it. I have to mention that, Javi, right? For sure. She actually, every time we kind of came across you when we were here already, she's like, oh, yeah, Naftali Abramson. We're like...
It was so random because I feel like it was like a little bubble of our world. And like, camp in general is like this bubble. But like, like we met in camp and like haven't seen her for years. And then like... see her with you and it's kind of like a whole different context. It's great.
And how did we connect somehow? I feel like I was in music. We maybe played a gig together at some point back in the day, and I've been following you ever since. I love your music.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, with Pedal. Yeah,
Pedal.
Shout out, guys.
The Walkers.
Yeah, good brothers. We gotta get them here.
Oh my gosh,
guys gotta come home.
Man.
Yeah, so
that's
like
probably how we met.
Yeah, I think
through
so.
The music, yeah.
I think so. And then Javi and I made that connection, which is cool. You guys know each other. Yeah, like when did you start? We're still in the story of how you got to Efrat. We'll get back to that.
Oh.
But when did you start playing music and singing?
Wow.
This is all before the psychology stuff.
Yeah, yeah. This was like, I don't know. I would say
I even
start
followed you at a wedding
performing?
band. I even used to like follow like the little videos and stuff that you put up.
Wow.
I'm a fan,
thanks.
man.
Remember,
Is your shoulder
I don't know
hurting?
if you were.
I'm teasing.
Now that you brought it up, no. Wait, I wonder if you were in the States or if you were here already. You were probably still in the States when I had this wedding in America that I played in New York.
Okay.
And like something with the drums, I don't remember what happened, got messed up,
There's
and
always
my
one
guy
piece
had
of
to like
gear or
we had to
something.
drive the day of the wedding to the Walkers. I forgot to Pesach, yeah. To Pesach to get like I don't know his set or half his set or parts of his set to
Wow.
like he really bailed us
Riverdale?
out. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, because I have an aunt and uncle in Riverdale, so that's where I was staying.
Yeah.
Whatever, I don't
That's
know.
huge.
Yeah,
You
but,
should know, like when people would come from Eretz Yisrael and they would, like Yosef from the Moshe band.
yeah,
I'm buddies with his brother. I've known him for a long time. When people come from Eretz Yisrael, for me, it's always been like a really unique and special thing.
yeah.
I know to you, it's
Yeah.
like you grew up here and you're just going to do a job or whatever. But for me, well, you can answer that. It looks like you want to say
I'm
something
thinking.
to that. I'm moving quickly. I'm sorry.
No, it's good.
So like I would lend my amp because like I loved it. I'm like, this is so cool. I'm a fan, and they like obviously can't lug gear across the ocean.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say about that, and which was really cool, is that whenever I grew up here, so I didn't know what it was like to be to even like know what it was like growing up in America until I went there like much later, like as a camp counselor when I was 18.
Yeah.
And then later for gigs around the States, and like I don't know, maybe if this is what like part of that being noticed or being whatever was that like everyone was so nice to Israelis.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the Jewish communities that I played for, everyone was always so, I don't know, there's almost this like sense of wonder, like, oh wow, you live in Israel, wow. Like people would say that all the time, like, good for you. I'm like, well, I didn't do anything. My parents, my parents moved there. Good for them.
Right.
And good for New Olim, you guys. I mean, but it's just I loved that feeling. I loved it. Like it was the fact that someone would want to fly me in to sing at their wedding just because I mean, okay, I sing well, I play guitar, I have a certain thing, but I think a lot of it was my Israeli-ness. Sure. Like they liked that they had an Israeli singer. There was something about that they wanted that really brought that in, and that's huge. That goes, I don't know, that's very special for me.
I totally acknowledge that.
It's really cool. It's really cool. Yeah.
So like you started when you were like a teenager?
Oh yeah, I started. Well, I played piano when I was younger, actually. So that gave me, a good base. My parents.
What age did you start piano lessons? I think it's a really good thing. For
Yeah,
kids
no,
to
it's
start.
great. I started
Even
young.
though they all hated in the end.
Right. So that's what happened with me.
Yeah,
I played from 7 till.
Okay.
Yeah, till.
I gotta get going. I feel like my sons. I want to give them that fighting chance in the beginning.
Yeah.
Let them figure out the instrument later, or their voice, whether it's music, art, or anything else.
Yeah.
But
I'm just curious now how you got to bass. Like, or when, or what.
Okay, fine.
Even though I didn't finish. Well, I'll finish.
No,
Let me
good.
finish. I'll finish. So 7 to 11 piano, and then I left it because of my teacher, and because I didn't like her so much. Like she was just very rigid, but it was good. It gave me what I needed, I think, to start guitar, which I just did on my own. Back then, it was like from a book, not from YouTube, But it's actually funny. Like my friends always tell me that like I just played basketball all day, but I broke my ankle. And so I was bored, and so I picked up the guitar.
That's great.
And the rest is history. Like,
wow.
the rest is, I was like, okay, what am I going to do now? I'll learn how to play guitar.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was it. And my first, like, real performing was a little bit at 18, but at 19 already. I went to a yeshiva that had a lot of musicians, very spiritual, very learned a lot of Chassidut in yeshiva in Otniel.
Oh, beautiful.
You've heard of it,
sure.
right?
It's not too far from here.
Yeah. Down 60.
Down 60.
Yeah.
Maybe a half an hour.
Yeah. So that opened me up musically. Like they would bring in a guy, they paid a guy, Gabriel Chasson, a great musician, it's like Breslover, Baal Tshuva. Really, he was like an amazing guitarist, and he was like he produced us like that first year. Like they brought him in. I thought that's so cool for yeshiva to bring a music guy to, to play, instead of I don't know, during the afternoon break, like that's what, I played music. And so there were just so many great musicians there, and that's where I kind of got started. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Were you always able to sing well? Okay, you can ask your question.
Singing, yeah. Choir, yeah. I think, with performing, it's like I'm always wondering like how much, how much of it has to do with like how well I sing or how beautiful my voice is, because sometimes I don't think like I have the most amazing voice, but I think a lot of it's about like what energy I'm bringing to the stage, like what, how much of myself am I willing to put out, so to speak, like how much am I, because there's so many people that sing really, really well, much better than I do, I think, and like when it comes to the performance itself, like they don't want to, they don't want to put it out there. I get it because it's kind of exposing. Like it's not easy, but yeah, I think that that's just something that came with time. And just like continue to do it, and every gig I felt I was always getting. People always used to tell me that. People that didn't see, let's say, would see me 5 years ago and then saw me, that hadn't seen me, and then 5 years later saw me. They're like, "Whoa, you got so much better since the last time I saw you." And it's really cool. Yeah, I like hearing that.
That's one good thing about being a wedding musician. When you're gigging all the time, take advantage of that, and you get really, really fit in your playability. Your playing, your skill, and your dexterity, and I guess just in your experience of being in front of people and getting used to that, and being able to bring your warmth and your calmness and your joy to the simcha. It translates. Playing the instrument and singing, it really does. People feel that, like you were saying, like there may be someone with some sweet angelic voice, but when you bring your like heart and soul to it, people feel that. People see that you brought your Eretz Yisrael,
that's true.
You brought Eretz Yisrael to the simcha. That's a big thing. It is.
Yeah.
I'm getting it. I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Bass guitar.
Okay, sorry. Bass guitar. The truth is that I have to be honest. I'm coming out of the closet. I haven't been playing a lot for recently. It's something we can talk about, maybe off air. I'm kidding. I have a lot of
get it on camera,
I have
on air,
about it. No, but in general, it has to do with certain pain that I have actually when I play. It's probably because I never learned how to play right, and I started similarly like you. I was 13. I just kind of picked up some books, and basically the way it was I was really close with a few guys. And we already had a drummer. We already had a guitar player. And it's kind of like a b'diavad kind of thing, but at the same point, like after the fact kind of thing. But at the same point, I really loved that feeling. I loved being able to move everybody.
Wow.
I liked the fact that I wasn't, because I didn't want to be the one in the front.
Yeah.
But I liked the fact that everyone's kind of moving to what I'm doing.
Wow.
I really, really appreciated that. And I think it translated to my playing too, because like I'm no Jaco Pastorius, but I love the beat. I love the feeling. I love that one,
Yeah.
So that's kind of like it started with a group of friends, and that band never even panned out. Like we always wanted to play together. We never did. Ended up playing with a few other guys, different iterations with the same guys. But yeah, so and as of recent, when I was in America before I made aliyah, I was doing wedding gigs. I was like gigging like you were every weekend throughout the week. Sometimes we do some concerts and stuff like that. When I made aliyah, I started working in the evenings. It really changed my life. On one end, I have this beautiful time that I was telling you about, how I can be with my wife together. And on the other end of things, is it's not like I'm just free in the evenings to go play a gig. You gotta have to take off of work, and also for rehearsals, most people who are getting together to play music, it's gonna be after work in the evening. So I'm hafuch. My hours are switched, so I don't really have that opportunity so much. But in Efrat, there's so many wonderful musicians and so much happening on like this micro scale. It's so funny. We have all these great musicians, and there's all these little micro scale things happening.
Every few houses there's someone.
I don't know how to explain it. But like you'll have these pop-up things at Siftach. You know.
Yeah.
And then like what you're doing this coming Sunday?
Yes, Monday night.
You and your bro are playing at Gush Etzion Winery.
Yes.
Which is
plug it.
I love for sure, guys.
I'm just excited to like have all you could drink wine and maybe get someone to drive me back or something.
And the scene over there is gorgeous. The setup that they have.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm getting excited.
Yeah. It's special. And now, because you're not, that's another thing, because you're not gigging weddings all the time, when you play, there's probably a unique, you know, I think you said this to me.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
must
a
have told you
special
this because I feel
thing to it, because it's like now it's just expression.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I definitely feel like that. I mean, even if I'm doing a wedding, it feels that like it's almost that pressure of the, you know, of the what's it called, parnasa? How do you say that? You know, like making a living.
You know, bringing home the bread.
Like that pressure off is nice. It's really nice. Sure. It's music. It's like clean music and just pure like.
Also, like enjoyment. Someone's not paying you to make an experience for them.
Right.
And you have to live up to that.
Right. But even I mean, it's for sure. It's just a different feel for the music. I think this is what I was always looking for with music. You know, it kind of reminds me of like when I first started. Like I never thought of money in the beginning. It was just like, this is fun. This is like pure, you know, like what you said about moving people. You know, I always just, I think I just loved the music so much that I just wanted to be a part of it. It was just like, okay, put me in. I could play some chords. I could sing, you know, let's do this, you know. I always felt like I surrounded myself with like the most amazing musicians, and I just loved hearing what they were playing, and it was more like my love for music that like I put myself just like
I gotta be
I want to be a part of this. Exactly. That's really, I think that's what it comes down to for me. It was you know, the groove, moving around, like I don't know, just something great. It's a language, you know. I feel like almost the, you know, in a way the therapy language is not so different. It's kind of this inner, you know, when you're talking about the, you know, getting people to move, I don't know, it's just there's something about that type of feeling, again, back to the emotions, back to the feelings. Sure. It's just like it's a different part of, you know, of life. I don't know, maybe because I didn't really, like growing up, like I played music at home, but in school everything was so not that, you know, like I went to a very like say like everyone was so super smart and book smart, just a different smart, I don't know, whatever. It was very, you know, very they call like reali, like very, you know, like there's physics and there's chemistry and it was just a different, you know, different type of work, I would say. You know, probably today I would appreciate it more, but but yeah, I think music and therapy and these type of, you know, artistic expressions have you know, it's a nice language. I like it.
I was gonna ask you. I just checked where we're at. We're an hour into this, which is awesome. Okay, it goes by quick. Yeah, it's not fair.
I can't believe it.
I was gonna ask you, like, you kind of got into it just now. Now that you have this musical expression you've had for a long time, and now that you have the vocabulary and the knowledge behind with the psychology, how do you feel like, you know, how are you taking those two things? Are you taking those two things together and utilizing them personally and then also professionally?
Wow. I've been thinking, your questions are too deep, man. No,
we only get an hour. We've got to get right into it, you know?
Right,
we got to dig deep.
No, because you're talking about stuff that I think about a lot. That's the truth. I think about this all the time. I don't know if I'm scared about this more than anything for some reason. But if I were to do another album or something, it would be something that combines this, like a therapeutic musical experience. Whether it would be me writing, I'm not so great with words, maybe because I didn't grow up in, I kind of spoke English at home, but grew up here, so Hebrew, English, I'll think about it, but either writing songs that are kind of, that talk about the therapeutic experience, perhaps my own, and composing music to that, or again, somehow to put out some type of musical, therapeutic, somehow to record something like that. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words a little bit. I'm sorry. Because you hit me deep.
Yeah, exactly.
But it would almost be like stories, almost like songs that tell a story, which is interesting because I all my songs I feel like they do, but to me, like they're all psukim, most of my stuff. So I tried in like the CD pamphlet. This is back 15 years ago.
When you were pushing out CDs.
I would try to write a little bit like what the song's about for me.
Right.
So I think if I would do something, it would really be about therapeutic stories.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but Naftali Abramson recently put out an album.
Yeah.
Which is something similar, talking about his own process and his own experiences. English words, basic, beautiful melodies.
Wow.
It's
wow.
I highly advise to listen to that album.
I only heard like one or two songs, but I'm gonna thanks.
It's just like straight up. It literally straight up. It's like, here's X amount of chords, a beautiful little tune, and these are my words. This is what's happened. This is where I'm at.
Yeah.
These are my fears. It's like the hill,
Wow. So I think he's
beautiful.
really brave for doing that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not there yet, but I think that's.
But
wow. But I want to listen to this now a little more. Like, no, I think that's really brave of him to do. I think that's shout out to Naftali Abramson for real.
I think what you're saying is like a beautiful idea. Obviously in your own voice and your own expression. No pressure. It can come out in 10 years from now, I feel like writing, it has to flow. If you're trying to push it, it doesn't feel authentic. And when you're going to be playing it over and over and over again,
it
for sure will lose that. We'll lose that feeling. So it has to really come from these places. You can't rush that, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I don't write so much.
I compose. I feel like the music, a lot of times I wanted the music to tell the story. Maybe that I can stick with that and go back to composing more stuff and because I haven't really done that in a while. Like I was doing original songs for a long time, and then as soon as those CDs kind of stopped making money and all that jazz, whatever, the music scene changed, and so I got more into the weddings, which is was not like any of my original stuff really at weddings, maybe here and there, but maybe to get back into writing and composing, like you're saying, like just kind of to let it flow.
It goes back to the time, and when do you take these feelings and set aside the time to write or to meditate or to kind of relive the experiences of the day or the week or the month or whatever.
Yeah, that's funny. It's funny because I meditate in the morning, and I feel like music for me is like something I do at night. So, so it's interesting. Like maybe I'll have to see how. I'll move the meditation to the night or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Wow, brother. I really appreciate you coming on and
like
chatting.
We could do a whole another one.
Yeah, we got it. Always. Yeah, man. Thanks so much.
You hear the muazzin?
Oh yeah.
Nice. This is Efrat, man.
I love the experience.
I love it.
I love it.
We just need to wait for the church bells. Then we've got it all.
Is it every morning or is it just on
It's
Sundays?
in the afternoon also. Every day.
Every day, twice a day.
Yeah. No, 3 times. 6, 12, 6.
And then, if you really want, you can turn on Yitzchak Meir's YouTube video of him screaming Shema at the Temple Mount.
Oh my gosh,
that was beautiful.
Yeah, wow, I haven't seen that video in a while.
You get all the full experience. I wonder if you get bells and these guys, and you can do like Shachrit or Mincha at the same time.
Yeah.
There's one God. I mean,
right.
That's
You're really hitting. You're hitting it all. Wow.
So if you like this podcast, please subscribe on the platform of your choice. We're also on YouTube. And thank you so much for joining us. And if you want to hear more from Naftali, I'm going to put some stuff in the commentary and links, and you'll see and you can access his music. And don't forget, Gush Etzion Winery coming on Monday night this coming week. Enjoy awesome music. Thank you, brother.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.